we're gonna bring Pavy in as we have Courtney out of here. Before we put that up, before we just want to give Courtney her salute out. Courtney, you will be out for the next 2 shows, so we will see you in 11 days. Let people know where to get in tune with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow me on Instagram at 1-800-CALLABRO. Also on the Bird app. Also, I'm going to New Orleans for the first time as an adult. So if you have any recommendations for me, please slide in my DMs, but only for New Orleans recommendations. That is all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that Dante, that was on me. That was fine on me. I fucked that transition. That was my fault. But Courtney, we will holler at you in about 11 days.
All right, sounds good. I do like that picture of you though, Pavy. You're looking real good.
Don't raise this nigga's ego any higher than it is now.
I'm trying to welcome my colleague into the fold, guys.
Thank you, Courtney.
Absolutely, you're looking especially light skinned, very Chico DeBarge.
Listen, I hope you have a great time in New Orleans. I hope it's everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Good. And now we've got Pavy in here. We've got our NBA correspondent here for the season, man. As we've got this great graphic up that I fucked up the first time, but here we go. Weekend in the association here with Pavito, man. Pav, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good. Good weekend. Football was great. Enjoyed myself this weekend. So yeah, ready to talk a little hoops and yeah.
Let's just get right into it, man. This weekend we had a lot of scoring going on in the NBA, man. Just off last week, we talked about on Friday about Joel Embiid putting up 70 points, and then we had Luka. Was it Luka or was it Devin Booker? I think it was 60. No, it was both of them. Not even before the weekend. No, it was Cat. Cat had 60. Cat had 63 or something like that on Friday. And then this weekend, we have Book went for 62 and motherfucking Luka Doncic, the second highest. Yeah, I said second highest because I'm not going off that 100 points by fucking Wilt Chamberlain. I'm going to keep saying it. We got videos of Dr. King getting hit by rocks in Marquette Park. But we ain't got no video of 100. But I'm not going to go down there again. This is the second highest scoring barrage in history with Luka Doncic. My question to you, Pav, is this a good thing for the NBA with all this high scoring? Because it kind of felt like people liked it, but it was kind of like, where's the defense at? What do you feel about that?
I mean, I think when it happens in the flow of the game is good. The Luka versus the Hawks thing was just like it looked. I'm not saying that they let him score 70 because obviously anytime somebody even like I think he was 25 for 33, which is insane. So obviously like he played out of his mind, but it was like, bro, double the man. Like, they didn't think to double him until he got to, like, 65. And I guess they were scared that he was going to embarrass him to score 81. But it's like, bro, like, there has to be – and Quinn Snyder, who, all intents and purposes, from what I know about him in Utah, to be a defensive coach, like, you can't come up with no scheme to somewhat slow this man down. So I think that when it happens in, like, the flow of the game is good. I mean, obviously, like, when somebody is, breaking out and doing all that, like, it's dope. Like, when somebody is, like, when one of the famous performances that come to mind for me is when Bron against the Bucks, when he scored, I think it was 50-something. Remember when he had, like, all those threes?
Yeah.
When, like, somebody is literally going crazy and you can't stop it, it's great. But some of this is just, like, did you even think about guarding the man? Literally, like they didn't double him. Like for me, I'm thinking like, yo, once a man got 41.5 on me, we gonna make it very hard for you to score. I'm just sending doubles at you, bro. Like if Tim Hardaway Jr. and Grant Williams want to light up and get 30, be my guest. But you just not gonna sit up here and just embarrass me like that. So I think that when it's in the flow of the game is good. But yes, I do think that defense is something that is lacking. And it just takes, I don't want to say it takes away from those games, but it kind of takes a little bit out of it when, like, it just seems like defensively there could be more being done that isn't being done.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it's, of course we know, and Dante, you said this many times, Twitter is not the place for nuanced conversations, but when we say we want defense, I'm not saying I want 83-78 back. I'm not saying that. But, even though the Warriors Lakers score, a lot of it had to do because niggas was tired more than actual defense. But I can live with 140 points in 3 overtime.
Overtime, like also, like people act like even in the 80s, there weren't high scoring games. There were very high
Yeah.
scoring games in the 80s. Like the 80s is one of the most highest scoring decades in NBA history.
Ever. Yeah.
Like you saw like the Denver Nuggets of the 80s who were running up and scoring 100. Even the Pistons, pre-Bad Boy Pistons that people don't remember, the pre-Bad Boy Pistons when they had Isaiah and they had Kelly, I think his name is Kelly, with like the pre-Bad Boy Pistons.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, they were scoring mad points. So it's not like people haven't scored points before. But this is like, bro, it's so many games I watched. It's 80 points at halftime.
Yeah.
Like at halftime, we have 80 to 60 scores, and then we'll get into some other stuff later. But it's just like people just shooting threes, and if you make a bunch of threes, you win. If you miss a bunch of threes, you lose. It's just like that isn't to me, that isn't the best form of basketball that we can possibly put forward.
Dante, what do you think about this scoring barrage going on in the NBA right now?
Yeah, bro. I said it a couple weeks ago. Like, once we went, I think it was last week. Once we went to positionless basketball and everybody's trying to do the same shit, it took a lot of the fun out of it because it's kind of like boxing where styles make fights. Where like you would have a West Coast team that was running gun coming to the East Coast, a team that was heavy on defense, and they were going to try to stop you from doing what you do best. Well, nowadays it's like, all right, shit, roll the ball out there and let's see who get to 130 first. Like it. It's not as entertaining just from a sheer entertainment standpoint. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still some good basketball being played, and I think they are, from an athletic standpoint, extremely gifted. But we talk about the lack of fundamentals and all of that, and overall, like, or from a defensive standpoint, especially, like, especially so much of defense is effort, and like you seen like that Luka game, bro. It was a few plays he came down court, and motherfuckers was just jogging, and it's like. Like, he has 50, bro. Like, what are y'all doing?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And like, so like, and for him to come into your court, home court, I know it ain't the playoffs, but like, have some sense of pride. And, a lot of people, they just, they were just on cruise control. And I think you see a lot of that in today's NBA. Everybody want to shorten the season. It's just a bunch of bullshit. So, I mean, I don't think it's good for the NBA, but, I also don't know how you change it. Like, Bomani Jones made a statement. He was like, people talk about like widening the court and pulling it, making a 3-point line further back, but that ain't gonna change shit. Exactly. He's like, that we just doing exactly, just way too much.
Now we just doing bullshit.
So what do you do? So like, how do you actually change it? But bro, I don't think it's really, I don't think it's good for the game. I don't know where we go from there, but we get to a point where, bro, you're gonna see 10 Wembanyamas out there shooting threes and doing the same thing. Everybody doing the same shit, and that's just what basketball has been in the last few years.
It's not out the realm possibility of somebody breaking Kobe's 81.
Somebody's gonna break it within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna break it.
As our resident old head, Bang, what do you feel about this?
Hey man, it is what it is, man. Ain't a lot of defense that's being played out there. People just letting folks rock. This is the 2K generation, man. This is the My Player generation. And what you do when you get on My Player, you get about 70 points, you get 25 assists, 50 rebounds, player MVP. That's where we in right now. It's really nothing else to be said other than just the defensive aspect of it. We saw Pat Beverly talk to his teammates about defense, and I'm like, yo, y'all don't teach this. So I think that is really the issue with the NBA right now, really just the lack of defense. But in the mortal words of Greg Maddux, and I think that was Tom Glavine, when they said chicks dig the long ball, chicks did 3-pointers. That's where we at.
Niggas don't want defense. Kind of quick point on this too. Just want to get Pavy your thoughts on it. And we kind of went over this, Bang and Dante, last week. So I just asked Pavy about this viewership in the NBA. So I looked up something this morning where we all talk about NFL. We're not even talking about NFL rating. NFL is whatever. It's America's pastime. But there's been ratings in sports that have been going up and up. Even though baseball has its own, they had record highs for, World Series. And I feel like every league has been going up higher outside of the NBA. You have a game where, you have the but the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And this is no disrespect to basketball. I just want to put this out there right now before I'm, making this comparison. But you had a game, I think it was South Carolina and LSU, that completely beat them in the ratings this past weekend. And that's something that also attributes to the growth of women's basketball that we're seeing. But we also don't usually see something where, you have an Eastern Conference Finals rematch be, basically bullied in the ratings. Do you think it's something? What do you think is the issue and why the NBA, as far as like live TV not playoff, but ratings wise, isn't really connecting like how it used to?
For one, people ain't out there half the damn time. Like, even the games you want to get excited about, for instance, like Boston Celtics, Miami Heat. Did Jimmy play? I have no idea. I really don't know.
Jimmy did play. Jimmy did play on some.
But the fact I have to ask the question, like,
that's true.
Like, did he play? Even like versus Clippers, Celtics. Granted, Porzingis literally did sprain his ankle, but Porzingis wasn't out there. Then we go. Then the biggest one, when you want to see the two last MVPs playing against each other, Embiid, the whole Sixers team don't play. So half the time, people not playing for one. Like, so even the marquee matchups aren't as marquee as they would be because the marquee players ain't out there playing. Like, you ain't seeing these two teams at their best going at it. So that's one thing. Two, I think the NBA is just consumed differently than like a lot of other leagues. I think that, you can, like, people, like, the NBA is a lot of, I think, more based on highlights and like game recaps than a lot of other leagues. Like, I think for football, it's hard to just watch the highlights and think you watch the game. I think for the NBA, you can watch like a 10-minute game recap on YouTube and feel like you fully watched the game. So I think some of that is that, as far as just like the highlight generation, being able to log on YouTube and watch a 10-minute recap and not having to sit down and, watch the full game. And then also combined with the fact of people literally aren't playing. So the marquee matchups aren't as marquee as you think they would be. Like the LSU South Carolina game, everybody was out there. Like, Don Staley, Angel Reese, like I can't think of any of the other players on the team, but the point is, them. Like, they're all there playing to make this game the game that it should be. In the NBA, a lot of times people are missing. They're not playing. Now, granted, I'm not saying these people aren't hurt because it's 82 games, bro. So, like, I'm sure your body gets nicked and knacked, over the course of the year, but people aren't playing. And I think if people were playing, some of these games would have more viewership and people would sit down and watch them more.
That's a fair take too, and I know that Adam Silver is actually investigating what happened with the Embiid thing because he wasn't even on the injury report. They just had him.
He
15 minutes
did hurt his knee, but I see the thing about Embiid. If you remember when we were talking last week, I said if Embiid even plays, because he did hurt his knee in the Indiana game. Like, he did come down, get beyond his knee. He played the rest of the game, but he did hurt his knee. So and Embiid is a guy who's had a very extensive injury history. So you don't want it to be like, if he's feeling some type of pain, you don't want it to be where he goes out there and makes it worse just for the sake of playing. But yes, it was disappointing.
And real quick before I introduce Mikey, shout out my brother Damien said in the chat, no disrespect. Yeah, right, nigga. First of all, there was no disrespect there. I was being dead ass, man. But we've got our guy Mikey. He is off Barber's Chair IR. He is back here on the show. Mikey, how are you doing, my brother?
What's the word, my guys? How y'all feeling?
Doing great.
Solid, bro.
Great.
Good, bro.
Shit, but like to jump into Pavy's point, I had no idea the Lakers and Warriors were playing Saturday night. And then just off strength, when I saw it, I'm on the East Coast, so I was tired. But when I saw it, I was thinking in my head, like, well, the Lakers did just play the Bulls like 48 hours ago. So I'm already not even going to flip to it because I'm thinking AD might be out, LeBron might be out. So it's very true, like the way that we consume it. So like today I was in the office and I just fired up the 10-minute recap video on YouTube and I was like, oh shit, I missed the banger.
Yeah, it was a good game. And not to cut you off, Dante, I was saying, even like I knew the game was on, but I watched a quarter and I was just like, I don't want to watch this shit. Like, I'm tired of the LeBron Steph thing. And then like a couple hours later, oh shit, niggas, 1-point game, like a minute left. And then we up the triple overtimes, things like that. But go ahead, Dante.
I was about to say, as a motherfucker who bought tickets, I spent about $300 when Joel Embiid didn't fucking come to the Hawks. And a nigga who is holding his breath because tomorrow the Lakers Hawks game is the second of a back-to-back. So if LeBron and AD sit, I'm
not playing, bro. When I'm not playing, bro. You shouldn't
ball. 100% because the underdog NBA tweet just hit the phone. Likely to play today. Likely to play today. So yeah, they chilling tomorrow.
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah, 100%.
When they went to double overtime Saturday, I said I'm fucked. Like, it's not gonna happen. But no, I think like to Pavy's point, that's the biggest issue, bro. They're not playing. Like you got like Mike when Mike played for the Wizards, bro, played 82 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? You had people back in the day who would just flat out, they were playing nonstop. And I know we get into it and we talk about, you know, these dudes who, you know, grew up in the AAU culture playing 6 games on Saturday, get 6 games on Sunday. Like, their bodies are worn down, so they kind of have to do it sometimes. But I think that's a big part of the viewership, because I'm not gonna watch this shit if I tune in and I see LeBron in street clothes. You feel me? Like, that takes away from the appeal of the game. And I think that's something that the league really is struggling with, especially when, you know, football has pretty much mastered how to package this 19 game product. You feel me? When you include the playoffs, 19, 20 games. And so they have a short window and they maximize it. Well, you got to try to get people's attention for 82 games. You feel me? That's a lot longer. Baseball has the same issue with 162 games. When you got that many games where you got to try to hold somebody's attention, but you got your stars not playing. You got matchups where you have 8 games on one night, 5 of them is fucking 30-point blowouts. Like, it's like, I'm not gonna watch this shit. So like, but I think overall, like that, the stars not being stars not playing. That's the issue, bro.
That
Don't let Sunday, Championship Sunday, take away from the fact that the Thunder got boned by the Pistons. With no Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. That and the fact of like how many times are the NBA gonna lean on LeBron versus KD, LeBron versus Steph? Like, bro, we just, like, granted, obviously, never take it for granted because we don't know how many more times we're gonna get to see this. Like, all these guys are older, you never know what can happen. This may be like the last 8 to 10 times we may see this, but like, who are the new matchups that we supposed to be excited about? Also, the rivalries, like, who are the actual? Nobody hates each other. Like, there's not like
so forth, bro.
Yeah, like there's like I like Lakers and Warriors is you know, the Bron Steph thing is real, you know, but other than that, like, nobody for real hates each other. So there's that, and then also, like, again, like I said, where are the new rivalries? Like the new player to player, like these guys going at it. You don't really have that in the NBA either at this point. Like, I feel like in the early 2000s, if it was like, you know, T-Mac versus Kobe, you want to see that. Or if it's, you know, Iverson versus Kobe, you want to see that. Or if it's, I don't know, Shaq versus Yao or something, you want to see that. Or if it's, you know, like all the power forwards, like C. Webb going up against Dirk, or, you know, Dirk going up against Sheed, or Dirk going up against KG. Like, you want to see those matchups. Like, I don't think that we have the same player-to-player rivalries that people are also excited about these days as we used to have as well.
Yeah, because David Stern was a master marketer, bro. Like, he was like he made you want to watch the matchups. And I mean, everything ain't Adam Silver's fault. Like, he didn't know Zion Williams was a fat freak and like Ja was a gun nut, because that was supposed to be the next big rivalry. Like, they were supposed to go at it, both in the Western Conference. You know, got, you know, a lot of matchups they would have had, but that just went left. And, you know, now we all have our preconceived how we feel about whether it's Booker or Tatum. So the guys that were supposed to be those next superstars, a lot of us look at them like, like, I guess you got it. So like, it ain't all his fault, but yeah, bro, it's a whole different game now.
We need Ant and SGA to get spicy and turn it up. Like,
I need that to be on the court. This can't be a fashion either. About
it seems like it's forced, but even that, it seemed like people are forcing it.
Facts, but to your point, we're looking for that rivalry. Like, from a basketball nerd aspect, like, one thing that I've loved to watch this year, I think the Indiana Pacers really have the Milwaukee Bucks number. Facts. Like, they really do. Like, they are just a complete total mismatch for the Bucks. And the casual or the Twitter follower be like, it's just whatever. It's not gonna. The Pacers aren't gonna do nothing in April or May, so this doesn't matter. But to me, I like every time seeing it come up on TV, like, yo, that's a good matchup. I know the Pacers are gonna give them the run for their money. So there are hidden matchups in there, but not enough people are watching it because of, like you said, Pavy, people are too focused on the big names, and nobody might really be wanting to watch a Halliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam versus a Giannis, and we're star crazed, and that's what really runs the league. That, you know, that's why every week we get Boston Celtics versus the fucking Knicks on TV.
Yeah, and also too, it has not to do presentation. You know, tonight is Bucks Nuggets. Why the fuck is that shit on NBA TV?
Because it's a boring matchup.
No, it's not. That's a
Atlanta's a boring matchup.
that's a potential NBA Finals
Yes,
preview, bro.
but again, the casual fan isn't running to watch Jokic. I don't think the casual fan even running to watch Giannis.
And that's a problem, bro.
Like it's just a boring matchup.
The first game is Suns versus Heat. I don't want to watch Jimmy Butler. I don't want to watch poster ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like realistically, like you could have put on NBA TV. Luckily, I got league pass, but Clippers Cavs. I will tune into that because I like the way the Clippers have been playing.
The best game tonight is Timberwolves Thunder.
Like,
that game, if any game should be on TV in prime time, it's that game.
Your two young stars, two top seeds in the Eastern, in the West.
But not enough people care about the Wolves or the Thunder, and that's what
make them care though, bro.
Like, you gotta make them
put them on TV and make them care. Like Ant is one of the best personalities that we have in the NBA. Yep. Shea is in a fucking Skims commercial. G, he's literally in a Skims commercial that runs all the time. Like, bro, you gotta make these people. You gotta make them care. You have to stop putting fucking. I love LeBron, so I put him on TV every week. They be getting smoked. Be watching the 20 and 21 team on TV every week.
We gotta stop having 30 games. Let's go into another popular team. The New York Knicks. The New York Knickerbockers are currently the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They are 29-17. Just had a big win this past weekend over the Miami Heat, and of course they blew out the defending champion Denver Nuggets last week. There's been a lot of conversation about the Knicks, from Knicks fans. I think we all know Knicks fans because, we all have New York friends, and they are very animated people, to say the least. And that's just not Knicks fans. That's New York sports fans, people, very colorful people. And they've been very loud about the season. That's they well should be. But I kind of want to know, like, what are they realistically looking for? You know what I'm saying? So, Pavy, what do you think is like a successful season for the Knicks?
I think a successful season is number one. Well, I would probably say Eastern Conference Finals berth, but I honestly think the sky is the limit. Like, again, when I look at the Eastern Conference, I'm not that sold on literally any team. Like, I don't think there's that much difference between the Celtics and the Knicks. I don't think there's that much difference between the Knicks and the Bucks, or, especially with the addition of OG. They also have the Evan Fournier contract that they can probably flip for something. They have picks that they can flip for something. So this team is a team that still could go out there and make another move. If Mitchell Robinson was still available, I would be even more confident about their ability for this season. Obviously, Julius Randle just got hurt with his shoulder. Hopefully, I know they say he's probably going to miss weeks, not months, which I think is a big thing as well. Obviously,
good thing for him,
yeah. But still, like, it's a big thing as far as like him getting back, his shoulder being right. Him still being able to shoot the ball and things like that. But I think the sky's the limit for this basketball team. Like, they've been great with OG. Like I said, they still have moves that they can make, and I'm not that sold on anybody in the Eastern Conference. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I think the East is very wide open this year. Like, would I put my money on the Knicks making the finals? Hell no. But would I be like just completely all like stricken and jaw dropped that they made it? No, because look at the conference. Like, look at the team. So I think improvement this season is making it further than you made it last season, especially when you make the deals that you made this year. But I think realistically, the sky's the limit for this team, because why not?
Shout out my man B in the chat. He said, "Why you say the full name like that, Scott? Because it's funny as shit. Knickerbockers is funny as hell. Like that. That's why I said it, Knickerbockers." But also shout out one of our guys in the chat, sharing on the board. My man Gator. Gator said, "People don't care about the game Bucks and Nuggets because Bucks ain't like that. The Nuggets gonna put them in the pack." See, that's what we're talking about. But Mikey, what do you think about the Knicks, and like, what do you think would be a successful season for them?
I was thinking before Pavy said the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, this has all the makings of, of a classic Tibbs team. Like, this team is very obviously Brunson is not Pooh from that run, that Eastern Conference Finals run, but they play defense. They have shooting. OG really is Luol Deng, the 2020 version of Luol Deng for Tibbs. So I think an Eastern Conference Final run is well within their grasp. Like Pavy said, there is no LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the Eastern Conference this year. They don't have to run through any juggernauts. I'm not sold on the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not sold on the Heat. The Sixers. Joel's just got to show up and do it during the playoffs. So I would say Eastern Conference Finals is a realistic opportunity for them. I think they need to go out and make another move. I think they do. You know, I know they've been linked to Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not sure how much of an upgrade that is, but we know that he was big for the Celtics last year. So I did see something that Mitchell Robinson actually might come back at some point this season. They no longer fear that it is season ending, and he might be looking at somebody coming back, you know, that last week of the regular season. So even if he can give them just some minutes, you know, out there, you throwing a legitimate 7-footer out there, that's definitely going to impact rim protection for them. So I'm actually impressed for them. Shout out to our boy Mike 96 Mike. I know he's living it up
Mike
right
Hype.
now on the Knicks high. Yeah,
Mike
he's
Hype.
put it up on the Knicks high right now.
Yeah. Shout out my man Al Patron when we did the holiday special, and he told me on air that Jalen Brunson was a superstar. And because he's my man, and also because I was very drunk when we recorded that, I let him rock. But Dante, what you think about the Knicks? You know, we on Friday when we had Pavy on here, you was like, man, I'm tired of Knicks fans. What do you think about the Knicks season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they entertaining. I think Julius Randle just hurting his shoulder. We gotta wait on the timetable for him coming back. You know, I think long term, you need to make the conference finals. I mean, you made it a few years ago, so you need to get back to that level. So I mean, like we were just saying, doing better than what you've done not only last year, but it's in the past in general. And with this being the same core for the most part with Tibbs, you need to finally get over that hump and get to the NBA finals. I know, you know, like you said, the East is wide open and nobody has the Knicks penciled in as a favorite to take the East with Giannis and everybody else still there, even with Jimmy still there. But if you want to, you know, make the most out of this, you got to try to do something to push this team to that. So I think a success would be at this point, a success would be winning the Eastern Conference for me. Like you got to win the Eastern Conference because you brought Jalen Brunson in to win the Eastern Conference and get to the finals. Like that was the whole point of bringing Bro in. So I think that should be the goal.
That's a fair point. I think for me, I'm gonna agree with Mikey and Pat. Like, I think just getting to the Eastern Conference Finals is when as currently constructed. Now I don't know what kind of moves they make at the deadline. If anything, if they make a power move that changes, I would have really liked to see Siakam on the Knicks. To be honest, like that.
No, you
that would have
wouldn't.
moved me.
No, you wouldn't.
Now, I'm not talking about. I hate not. I'm talking about not as somebody. I don't like the Knicks, obviously. But I'm saying I think that would have been a good fit.
No,
why you don't think that's a good fit?
What position he gonna play?
He play forward. Who they starting?
So then what Randall?
You know how I feel about fucking Julius Randle, nigga. I just sent that nigga first fight.
So you think Siakam is better than Randall?
Yes, I do. I think Siakam's better player than Julius Randle.
I
think Siakam's better player than Julius Randle.
I can't.
Knicks fans
not good enough to bench him, dog. Not good enough to bench him.
No.
I think Siakam is a better. I trust Siakam.
I can't co-sign that, but I ain't mad at you for what you do. I can't co-sign that, but I ain't mad at you for what you do. I can't say all that. No, I can't do all that.
Julius Randle is good in spurts, man. But we know when the playoffs come, he gonna do some Julius Randle shit, and that was one of the main reasons that they lost to the Heat in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year.
Without Kawhi Leonard and all that.
Yes, but I trust Siakam more than I trust Julius Randle, is what I'm saying in this particular situation. But I feel like as currently constructed, they have to at least make the Eastern Conference Finals for it to be a success. Now, they're at that point that a lot of teams get into where it's like there's only so much Jalen Brunson can do, where he's gonna need an equal running mate who can take it up to the next level. And that's just something that Julius Randle can't do. Let's go back to the Western Conference. We just talked about, T-Wolves and OKC facing off tonight. Pav, you wanted me to put this on the rundown, man. What's on your mind about the Timberwolves?
I have watched the Timberwolves the past week, and they have had some very foolish losses. The Spurs loss was just absolutely inexcusable. Like, what are you doing? I don't give a fuck how many sham gods Wemby is doing. You should not be losing to the San Antonio Spurs. Like, especially when you were up in the game, you shouldn't be losing to the Spurs. Then the Brooklyn Nets victory. Like, the past week, they've had some very questionable victories. Questionable victories and foolish losses. You lost to the Hornets because you were trying to get Cat a fucking record, and you fucked around and lost the game to the Charlotte Hornets. Like, my thing with the Timberwolves is, I've said all year, I think the Timberwolves have one of the best first sixes in basketball with Naz Reid and Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels and Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. They do have the best front line in basketball. Rudy Gobert is probably going to be defensive player of of the year. You have Anthony Edwards, who's going to be all NBA. He's going to be an all-star. They should have 2 all-stars. But my thing with them is just intelligence. Like, they're just a fucking stupid basketball team. And they've been a stupid basketball team for a couple of years. Number one, even going a couple of years back, they should have beat the Grizzlies. They lost 2 20-point leads in one game.
One of the worst playoff series.
That's one of the worst of all time. The coaching is the thing that I worry about because they still stupid. They still stupid. So at some point in time, I got to question Chris Finch because they still stupid. Also, Anthony Edwards. I love Anthony Edwards. But Anthony Edwards plays basketball like he thinks every shot he shoots has to be on his career montage. Have you seen, like, bro, that was like one play against the Spurs. This nigga did a tween spin step back off the glass and missed. I'm like, that was a beautiful move. That was insane. I love watching Anthony Edwards play, but it's like, I swear to God, there was an easier way to get to this move. There was another play in which he get the ball in the corner and Wemby pops out. And Anthony Edwards, being a prideful guy he is, in his mind decides, I'm going to try to take Wemby off the dribble and turns the ball over. So, like, this, the intelligence level of this whole basketball team, even the Brooklyn Nets game, Anthony Edwards gets, I'm the superstar. This is my team. When Cat clearly got it rolling, like he has it rolling, don't give him the ball. About like 0 for 8 in the second half, still shooting the ball. Also, that's another thing. Granted, I know Cat has his issues in the playoffs, but they cannot forget Karl Anthony Towns is an elite offensive weapon. Like, that's real 24 points on, for the most part, 50, 40, 90 shooting. They have to find a way to get the best out of Ant, but also get the best out of Cat. So my thing with them is just the maturity level and just the intelligence, bro. Like, if they even have half of a mind, they should be in the Western Conference Finals. But I'm just not convinced in them. Like, I think, let's say the Lakers get the AFC, I think the Lakers could beat the Timberwolves just off of smarts. Literally just off intelligence. Just that they not going to do the stupid shit. LeBron is not going to allow the Lakers to do the stupid shit that the Timberwolves going to do. So my thing with them is just like, they've had some very questionable losses over the past week. And a lot of it is just maturity and intelligence level. And yeah,
I think that comes with being a young team. Like, they're going through.
They're not a young team.
That's the
thing. They're not a young team. Like, Mike Conley
what's the average
40.
age for
Mike
them?
Conley is 40.
Okay.
Fucking J.D. McDaniels on his second deal, and he's still young. Rudy Gobert old as hell. Cat been in the league about a decade by now. Like, this team, this team is not a young team. And the Timberwolves are at risk of, like, you accelerated your timeline. You ain't got much longer with this basketball team. Like, how many more elite years of Rudy defense you think you finna get? Mike Conley already 35, 36. You're going to have to reset this team in about a year or two. 2 years,
do we
maybe.
Put some of that blame on some of the vets for not having these young guys really prepared? Well, not young guys, really having Ant, Ant still doing young player type shit, though.
Yes, I think it's on all of them, and I also think it's on coaching. I think if they had a better coach, they would be better. I just think the coaching for the past couple of years has been a thing that has been, granted, obviously they number 2 seed, so they're doing something correctly. But I just think the coaching in Minnesota could be better.
Anybody else got to take on this before we move on to the next topic? Or no? Let's go on then. We're about 15 minutes. We're going to have, I'm not going to hold you overtime, as you see on the bottom screen. Subscribe to the patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. Me, Dante, Bang, and Mikey will be going over everything in our local hour, man. And in the local hour, we will be having full Bears talk, as we'll be talking about Coach Matt Eberflus cements his coaching staff. We're going to talk about is, if you take emotion away from it, is Caleb Williams the best pick? And what exactly is the state of the NFC North? So we'll be doing all that on overtime. But let's go to our next topic on here. I kind of want to combine these two topics here because it's happened from the same game. The Boston Celtics met up with the Los Angeles Clippers on Saturday. A big matchup that I didn't even really know was happening. It was not on any of the triple headers on any of the national TV. That's the game that I feel like should have been the nightcap instead of Warriors Lakers on paper. And of course, obviously, it panned out well for the NBA. But you got the Celtics who are coming into the season. They are the number 1 team in basketball right now. They are 35-11, and they're pretty much on cruise control, man. But they went home, they got home, and they got absolutely shellacked by the Los Angeles Clippers, man. And I'm not a big Jason Tatum fan. We talk about, cool moves. He king cool moves, bro. Like he fools a lot of people. I can't get over the 100 turnovers he had 2 postseasons ago. But this is something to me where I'm not so. I don't see anything different from this team than I saw in years past. And I don't even know 100% what that thing is that's going to get them over the hump. But Pav, what have you seen from the Celtics? And do you think, like, is there any change? Is there any way that they could actually win a championship this year? You on mute, dog.
Granted, the thing about the Clippers game that people did gloss over was the fact that Porzingis didn't play. Porzingis is very huge for them because he gives them somebody who can do like the other stuff. Like he's a guy, if you need like a post bucket or something like that, you go into Porzingis. That's still a guy who's 7'3", so he obviously is a rim protector. Especially when you put him with that defensive group, he can shine even more. All that being said, you still should lose by 30 at home to the Clippers. Not like that, bro. But the issue with the Celtics is they still have this thing where it's like, if we make a bunch of threes, we win. If we miss them shits, we lose. And it's been the same way since they went to the finals. Where if they make threes, they win. If they miss them, they lose. So that's just the thing with them. They have to find a way to still get those in-between buckets. And like I said, Porzingis didn't play in that game, and he does add a whole lot to their offense. But they just have to find a way to get easier buckets. Like Tatum, there's no reason he shouldn't be shooting 50% from the field. But because he want to shoot because he worked out with Kobe and Kobe told him whatever he told him, and now he think he a guard, so he want to shoot fucking step back threes all day. I just think that the Celtics just make offense harder than what it has to be. Obviously, they are an incredible defensive team, and the defense for the most part will keep them in most games and will allow them to win most games. But offensively, they just don't really get too many easy buckets. And I mean, that they still may be able to get by with that. Like they may have a series where they make more threes than they miss, and the defense can, hold them down and win some games for them. But like I said, they just don't get very many easy buckets, and it's been the same way since they went to the finals. They just don't get easy buckets.
Yeah, and you're right. They don't get easy buckets, and it's also something we look at evaluating them. We talk about, this is not a young team. This team ain't young either. Like they've had a lot of playoff battles in their time. They've been together for a long time, and I'm not comparing them to the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys didn't make it to the Super Bowl, and this team didn't make it to the finals a couple years ago. But it's also like, if you don't do this now, when are you going to do it? You know what I'm saying? You just paid Jaylen Brown. You're going to have to pay Tatum soon. That's going to be a ridiculous contract because Tatum's definitely going to want more and deserve more than Jaylen Brown. So they kind of got to get done. But the problem here is, for me, I don't know how they do it because, like you said, the style of play isn't going to change. They're not just going to get easy buckets out of nowhere. That's their philosophy. That's how they always been. Now, I could see them coming out the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is very much a toss-up. But when it comes to if they do get out the East, now they got to go up against the big dogs like a Denver Nuggets or shit, even the fucking Clippers. It's going to be a problem. And there's also things that Joe Mazzulla does that, Ime Udoka did way better. First of all, Joe Mazzulla does not believe in timeouts. Joe Mazzulla, I feel like, doesn't really rally the troops together like he should. I'm not saying the team doesn't respect him or listen to him or anything of that nature, but when you have we have this talented of a team, there needs to be somebody who takes it to the next level, and that's just something I don't think he does. I like the Drew Holiday trading. I think it's going to pay off dividends in the playoffs. But even if you say with Kristaps Porzingis, we've been saying about Kristaps Porzingis for years, can he stay healthy? So you're going to be relying on his health as well. So I just don't really know. To me, we got to treat it as in, until they actually get it done in the playoffs, there's really nothing else to be said about it. So
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the team that they face, and that is Los Angeles Clippers, the team that me and Pavy covered. Man, Pav, I feel like I don't want to go fully into the Clipper waters. I'm scared to jump fully into the Clipper pool. Pause. But if there's any time I believe in the history of the Los Angeles Clippers that they could win the NBA championship, I feel it's this year. They're beating teams that they're supposed to beat. They're beating contenders, and they're just flowing. They look like they're having a good time, and T. Lue putting up a great, coaching, job. And this is also without Zubac. Do you actually feel? Not only do you feel they can win a championship, I think we can. We know they can. But how much are you willing to bet that they actually will win the NBA championship this year?
I'm fully in. I'm good. I'm fully in. I'm in. I'm in. I think this road trip will tell me a lot. Obviously, they have a 7-game road trip. I think they have they have the Grammy
Yeah,
trip.
the Grammy trip. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they have 7 games on the road. I think they come back until like February 6th. So they'll be like gone for about 2 weeks. But even beating the Celtics the way they beat them on a second half of a back-to-back, which was the thing. Like they played the Raptors the night before it came in Boston. PG wasn't going to play, and he insisted on playing, which I think is huge for them because I think for the past, Ty Lue said in the beginning of the season, we're going to take the regular season serious this year. And for the most part, they've been taking the regular season seriously. Like Kawhi's been out there every night. PG has been out there every night. Russ going to be out there every night. Harden been out there every night. Like, they really only miss games that they literally are hurt and can't at all play, which I think is huge. I think some of the other couple of years, like, they just didn't get the on-court work in. And you can't just think that you have the ego to think you're just going to show up in the playoffs and everything going to work out. Like, no, you have to go through adversity during the season and work through it and work through those games so that you can draw back on those moments when you get to the playoffs. But I'm fully in. I think they quite possibly had the best roster in the league. Kawhi is playing. He's not gonna win MVP. He's not even gonna like get votes, but I do think he's playing at an MVP level. I think James Harden has been everything, like literally everything the Clippers have needed for the past couple of years. They needed a point guard. And my thing, like I said, with them needing a point guard is the only issue with that is what point guard are they gonna bring in that has the cachet to look at Kawhi and PG and say, I should have the ball over you. Well, James Harden is that guy.
Yeah.
James Harden can look anybody in the face and say, nah, not this time. I got you next time. Or nah, you get over there because that's James fucking Harden. And again, all these, I think that for all these guys, number one, all these guys are LA guys. So I'm saying that to say they all knew each other for a very, very long time. Like you hear stories about, I think PG talking about the first time he played against Harden in high school, or the first time, they saw Kawhi in high school, and they all around the same age. So they all know each other. They're all from LA. They do have that bond. Ty Lue's a great coach. And yeah, I'm fully all the way in. I think the only team in the West that I would even be concerned about is the Nuggets. And that's just because, the lineup that they have, and also Jokic being like the ultimate mismatch. But everybody else in the entire league, yeah, I'm fully in on the Clippers being able to win the championship. And I just think that everything is lining up for them, bro. Like this just seems to be like their year. It's a storybook ending. Last year in Staples, you go out with a championship and you open your arena up with the ring ceremony. I just think that's just like storybook.
Perfect.
Your perfect storybook. So yes, I'm all in, man. And again, them like I said, this road trip will show me a lot, but them beating the Celtics the way they beat the Celtics off of back-to-back showed me a whole lot. Even though Porzingis wasn't there, still showed me a whole lot.
And that's the game they lost in the past too. That's why I really like what we saw from them.
PG wouldn't have played. PG wouldn't have played. Kawhi wouldn't have played. They wouldn't have played. They wouldn't have played. The fact that they even showed up, played the way they played, yeah.
Yeah, and then also you talk about the Nuggets. I know it's 40-something games left, but you also got to pay attention to the standings because if the playoffs start today, they be playing the Nuggets in the first round. That's not a first round opponent you want to face right out the way. But last topic, and then we're going to get you up out of here, and we're going to wrap this episode of I'm Not Going to Hold You Up. The Golden State Warriors, man, the Warriors had a tough loss this past Saturday to the Lakers. Steph had a phenomenal game, over 46 points, did his thing, man. But the Warriors are currently the 12th seed in the NBA, in the West Conference. They're 19-24, and they are like shit. They're like 3 or 4 games just out the fucking play-in, man. My question to you, Pav, is, we talking about the blame game and who should get the blame. Is there anybody in particular that should get the blame for the way that the Warriors season is going, or is this just a matter of the windows just coming to an end?
I think everybody should get the blame. I could run down the list. One, I think Draymond Draymond and his issues, whatever he dealing with, like, bro, you too important to this basketball team to be doing the shit that you be doing. And it's literally completely inexcusable for the things that you're doing. Even in the Lakers game, granted, I don't think he meant to do it, but you could see progressively as time went on, I'm like, yo, if this game lasts 5 minutes, he might punch somebody. Yeah. Like even the foul, we took 80, we slapped him on the foul. Brother, what are you doing? Like you just playing like a husky kid, bro. You playing like way too rough. Like calm down, brother. Calm down. Clay, I think Clay came into the season the wrong way. Clay came into the season like, I'm still that guy. It's like, yo, calm down. Clay has been taking some of the, like sometimes when Clay plays now, you can see he thinks I haven't taken a shot in 8 minutes. So I have the ball. I must shoot this shot. no matter how fucking terrible this shot is, and you not making them like you once used to because you're not as quick as you once used to. So the space that you can garner isn't the space that you once able to garner. You already can't dribble like that. Ain't like you got shakes, so you can't create the same level of space, and you just shooting whatever. Steph, I love Steph, but even like Steph, like the space that Steph can create, there's a very clear difference in Steph's speed now as opposed to like in 2015. So I think that, like, you know, even Steph being on ball all the time isn't the best thing for him. I think the reason why even in the Lakers game, why he was getting, you know, by AD so good was because AD was literally on one leg. Like there were points in time in the game in which AD was literally dragging his leg up the court. So I think just everybody gets some blame. Also the organization, like, I think they didn't do the best with their window. I think they probably, hindsight is always 2020, but they probably should have traded those picks and try to get help immediately. I mean, you picked James Wiseman. That was obviously a dud. You picked Moody. You picked Kuminga. I also think you have a team who is like just in between two timelines. And the two timelines thing just hasn't really worked. Like the young guys haven't got the chance to develop the way that they need to develop because you're still trying to win. And obviously they won in 2021. So like they did win a championship, obviously, whatever. But the young guys haven't gotten a chance to be able to develop because you're still trying to win, and development causes mistakes and mistakes cause losses. Like even you saw in the Lakers game, they put Kuminga. What did they have? What, Kuminga on LeBron? If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, that was LeBron. Yeah,
but I mean, no, but like he needs those moments. It wasn't
he
a mistake.
needs those moments.
Kuminga, like Kuminga has been stepping up. He's averaged, I think he scored 20 points over the past 5 games. It's just like you're in between two teams. Like Kuminga isn't gonna be Kuminga in 4 years or 2 or 3 years will be the player that you need him to be. But Steph will be 38. Clay is gonna be 34. Like it's just the two timeline thing isn't working. And I don't think that these guys all came in this season with the right mindset. Like I said, I don't think Drake came in with the right mindset. I definitely don't think Clay came in with the right mindset. And again, they've dealt with some serious adversity this season. I mean, obviously, RIP, a coach that died. That's a crazy thing to witness and see.
Yeah.
And also the 2 losses that they had after that, I think were really like heartbreaking losses. Like you could see that. I feel like they were playing for something. Like they had something bigger to play for besides just them. And to lose the last 2 games, when they lost the last 2 games, I think really, really sucks. But I won't say it's over for them. Obviously, you have like 40-something games left. They're still a veteran team. They still have, you know, all NBA level player and stuff. You know, Drake can come back in and play the way he played last night. Every night they can play that style of basketball and the way they played in that game every night. They can still very well make the play in. And if they make the play in and they can get in a playoff series, again, when I look at the top 2 seeds in the West, I'm not convinced. Like I think they could beat the Thunder. I think they could maybe beat the T-Wolves. Just again off the fact of they're a veteran team and they've been there before. So if you're getting the playoff series, you still got to beat them, and that's a very unnecessary first round matchup that you wouldn't want. But as far as blame, it goes to the whole organization. Everybody has to take some part in the way the season is going so far.
Definitely, man. That is the first edition of Weekend in the Association with our homie Pavy, man. He will be our NBA correspondent and will be joining us through the remainder of the NFL season, man. You can follow him at Pavy World on all networks, all platforms. You can visit pavverbs.com, listen to his music, man. Pav, thank you for joining us, bro. We'll holler at you next Monday.
My man, see ya.
That paper on this player, haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.